This is Igbo Area
We have been consistent that Igbo ancestors have the same ancestry with the ancient Hebrews. Our custom, traditions, and behavioral patterns speak volumes of this. Now let's look into this. Here are some Jewish traditions of Ndibo. Number 1. Nsonwani. In Igbo land, women live apart from their husbands and neither cook for them or enter their husband's quarter when they are in their period. Now let's see Leviticus 15:19-20. When a woman has a monthly period, she remains unclean. Anyone who touches her or anything she has sat on becomes unclean. Number 2. Anobi. An Igbo man's ancestral heritage, called Anobi, is not sellable. Elders will not permit this. If this is somehow done due to the influence of the West, the person is considered a fool and is ostracized by the community. Let's see 1 Kings 21:3. I inherited this vineyard from my ancestors, and the Lord forbid that I should sell it, said Naboth. Now number 3. Ikuchingwani. Igbos have practiced the taking of a late brother's wife into marriage after she had been widowed until the white man came. Let's see Deuteronomy 25:5. A widow of a dead man is not to be married outside the family. It is the duty of the dead man's brother to marry her. Number 4. Igbo Odibo. In Igbo land, there is a unique form of apprenticeship in which either a male family member or a community member will spend 6 years, usually in their teens to their adulthood, working for another family. And on the 7th year, the head of the host household, who is usually the older man who brought the apprentice into his household, will establish the apprentice by either setting up a business for him or giving money or tools by which to make a living. Now let's see Exodus 21:2. If you buy a Hebrew slave, he shall serve you for 6 years. In the 7th year, he is to be set free without having to pay you anything. Thanks for listening to Igbo Area.
This is Igbo Area
Among the Igbo, a large ethnic group in Nigeria, there is widespread identification with Jews and Israel. But a recent genetic test carried out by an American missionary group searching for Jewish roots came back negative, prompting fierce backlash from activists who called the project faulty and irresponsible. Amidst waves of social media outrage over the results, some have taken to posting their own personal genetic tags online to counteract the missionaries' tests. My result shows a Middle Eastern connection. Remi Ilona, an Igbo author and a recent graduate of Florida International University, said, Ilona's tests show 1.2% Middle Eastern, according to a screenshot from the website myheritage.com. Earlier in 2017, Jewish Voice Ministries International, an evangelical missionary group from Arizona, collected saliva samples from some 124 Igbo men in the state of Nnewi. After a careful comparison, the lab was not able to find any connection to the samples we collected, Benis wrote in an email to Forward.
Hello, here we are in Jerusalem. I'm Harry Rosenberg, and this is Remi Ilona. So you're saying that the Igbo are from the tribes of Israel. Now,
Yes.
are you saying this, or are the people on the ground in Nigeria also saying this?
Every Igbo says that the Igbos came from Israel. The 40 million Igbo people say that they came from Israel.
I understand. So time out. This is pretty fascinating. You're saying that there's 40 million people in Nigeria who have an identity that they come from the house of Israel, from the people of Israel.
Yeah, who also have oral traditions to back it up, and whose lived experiences are unquestionably Jewish.
Now, you are darker skin complexion. I'm a whiter skin complexion. How is it possible we come from the same people?
What unites us, even from the Torah itself, is the culture.
Right.
It's culture that makes Israel distinct, not biology.
So in a world today of racial tension, so to say, where people are divided by color, that simply doesn't exist between us.
It doesn't, because right from day one, Israel was never one color. Esau and Jacob were twins, but they had different colors. And if you moved on further, you will see that race was certainly not an issue in Israel. It was culture.
If that's the case, then we're giving too much time to this topic. Unfortunately, the world, they're still dealing with this, but we're beyond that, right?
And we will help the world to resolve it.
We'll help the world, but we'll move forward in this conversation. Right?